evidence for the influence of IO psychology can be seen in virtually every aspect of the work environment. However, from the employment tests you took to apply for the job you have currently, to the training you received at various points in your career, to the design of your job, to your preparation for retirement, IO psychologists have affected you and your company. One of the two major goals we're going to be looking at in this course is how IO psychology will work in your life. The other goal is to familiarize you with the major topics, theories, and principles of IO psychology as they relate to everyday life, but specifically your life. While most of you will not become IO psychologists, you will be consumers of the research and work of IO psychologists. And most importantly, you will be better consumers by the end of this course. So, before studying IO psychology, it is important to understand how it relates to the entire field of psychology. Industrial organizational psychology is an area of specialization within the field of psychology itself. This is why prior to this lecture, I had you view the lecture on the history and foundations of psychology. Although many people associate psychology primarily with the study of abnormal behavior, it includes specialization areas that study everything from perception and sensation to brain functions. Now, as we already know, psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Again, psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. It is research-based science. This means that when psychologists study behavior and mental processes, they must use systematic, exacting research methods. Now, industrial organizational psychology refers to the application of psychological theory and methodology to the problems of organizations and the problems of groups and individuals in organizational settings. Over the last several decades, IO psychology has expanded to include many organizational settings other than traditional businesses. The principles of IO psychology apply as much to hospitals, schools, the military, and volunteer organizations as they do to factories and retail stores. Sometimes it is difficult to think of a student or library volunteer as having a job, but most people agree that taking classes or shelving books involves doing work. Expanding the field of IO psychology beyond traditional settings has brought beneficial information and new areas of understanding to the entire field. Although the traditional topics associated with IO psychology, such as productivity and the selection of new employees, continue to be important areas of research and application, New areas develop in response to the needs of and changes in society in itself. Now, within IO psychology, there are three major specialty areas. First is personnel psychology. It is the area of IO psychology that deals with employee recruitment and selection, training and development, performance appraisal, and job analysis. Many of you will have the greatest amount of contact with this specialty. Psychologists in this area often work in human resources departments. In other departments of organizations, they may help develop programs to increase motivation and job satisfaction. In other departments of organizations, they may help develop programs to increase motivation and job satisfaction, along with reducing stress. Although the whole organization may benefit from these programs, the focus is on the individual employee. Now, moving right along, in organizational psychology, the focus is on group influences on individual employees. The individual employee is still a concern, but the primary subject of study is the influence the group has on the individual employee. Now, IO psychologists in this area may be concerned with the structure of the organization, communication patterns in the organization, the effect of diversity among employees, the organizational climate and culture, and group decision making. A psychologist working in this area is often a consultant who joins an organization for a particular project, rather than a permanent employee, such as a member of the Human Resources Department. Now, the third specialty area is human factors or engineering psychology, which focuses on the interaction between people and machines in the workplace. This includes workplace and equipment design, as well as safety programs. The increased use of technology, such as computers, has increased the need for IO psychologists trained in human factors. Psychologists who work in this area often have a background in engineering as well as psychology. Among the main topics of study for IO psychology today are as follows: legal and social issues such as court rulings, safety standards, and fair employment. Employee recruitment and retention, along with the study for future human resource needs. The analysis of training needs and the evaluation of training programs. Organizational culture to include the personality of the organization. Fitness, health, and stress. The effects of new technology on the workplace and employees. Future needs of challenges faced by organizations. And the internationalization and increasing diversity of the workplace. As stated, industrial organizational psychology is the application of psychology to the workplace. It encompasses such diverse areas as performance management, employment testing, organizational development, and motivation. IO psychologists receive extensive training in a wide range of areas, but their central approach is based on the scientific practitioner model, which emphasizes both theory and practice. Most obtain an advanced degree, such as a master's degree or PhD. Now, training is quite intensive and includes a great deal of coursework, practical experience, and research experience. About 40% of IO psychologists work in the academic setting, such as psychology departments and business schools, where they teach undergraduate and graduate students and conduct research for the purposes of creating and applying knowledge. The majority of IO psychologists, however, work outside academia in the public or private sector, applying what they've learned in graduate school to their particular organization. Many of these IO psychologists also work for consulting firms that provide services to organization on a project-by-project basis. IO psychology has reacted to and been driven by the needs of society from its beginning. Now, this has led to increasing job opportunities for IO psychologists. IO psychology is concerned with more than just efficiency and productivity. They are also concerned with employee health, stress reduction, and the quality of work life. These factors are becoming increasingly important.